Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is your favorite Mindminx, and this is the Mindminx Show. Today, we have an incredible guest, and we're not even going to waste any time. We're going to get right into it to speak with Ralph Henriquez, comic book creator. Hello, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm good. So we are going to talk about a lot of actually really interesting topics that we started our conversation earlier this week. And, the first thing I said to you when we talked on the phone, I was like, I read your bio, and usually it's that you become the comic book creator and then it segues into all of these other branches of that industry. But no, you actually started in the graphic animated. Talk about that. Talk about your history.
Yeah, so it started with the animation. I went to SVA back in '85 as an animation major under the film program, because they had at the time they had two sections. They had the film and then they had the illustration, but animation was either or, and I was on the film side, so I learned a lot of the technical stuff, the editing, the directing, and all that stuff. Drawing, was something that needed work back then, but it started off with film at the time. And then, over years, people say, you need to make a comic book. I'm like, yeah, okay. I've never made a comic book. I was a collector of comic books, never really produced a comic book. And after I shot my first short, Fuerza short film in 2011, it took 4 years for post-production. When you want, a one-man person, it takes
and life
time.
Happens.
Yes, my son, being a husband, being a father, and all that stuff. Life happens. And in 2015 is when I finally completed it and put it out there. We won numerous awards for Best Short, Best Superhero, Best Visual Effects, Best Art Direction. It won numerous awards.
That's awesome.
So then after that, it's like, okay, what are we going to do next? It would be nice if we could do a feature film, but, to produce a movie, to get people on board with what's called a letter of intent, you have to have money in escrow to get them aboard. So clearly there was no money in escrow. So eventually it came down to doing the comic book. So I started with Rage in the Shadows, and got 2 issues out of that. And then everyone's like, so when are you going to do Fuerza? Oh, boom, there you go. Here's Fuerza. And it takes, obviously, a while because either I'm slow or meticulous. And then, I have my beautiful wife who is also my proofreader. Questions everything.
Everything.
Thank
well,
God.
As we should.
Yes, thank God to the wives. But she also has a good... with her proofreading, she has a good way of questioning a story of how things flow, and she'll toss ideas. It's pretty much like how a writer's group or writer's room will toss ideas to one another, and that's pretty much how we work. So that's why.
Well, your group that you're referring to, Richie just said wishing you the best, Ralph. So
what's up, Richie?
That's part
Thank
of
you,
that. Bro. That's amazing to me because when you think of a passion or a project, you kind of jump right into it. But no, you actually got to build that storyline ahead of schedule for whatever you ended up doing. And we have actually here the very first issue. I'm looking at camera, the very first issue of Fuerza. And this is actually very near and dear. So is your second comic book, which is Rage in the Shadows. These are important topics to you because they feature 2 very important things: they feature as the main character a woman,
Mhm.
a Latina woman.
Mhm.
That role is to save the world. So
Mhm.
talk about that. Why is that so important to you? Which I love it. I love it.
Well, I mean, back in college, of course, the teachers will tell you, okay, write something, try to make it original. What is out there, or what is not out there that you would like to see? And at the time, collecting X-Men, Superman, Batman, what have you, there was not a lot of lead heroine characters, with the exception of Wonder Woman and Supergirl, and even Supergirl was kind of on and off, and Batgirl. And then you had your other females, but it wasn't like very popular at the time. And over time, I guess everyone started to either want it, they want to see it, they wanted to write it. So it's kind of like almost like a movement. So from that time, it was like, okay, a Latina superheroine. Who would have thunk? I mean, Marvel and DC do have characters, but I don't see them as a forefront. I don't see them have their own title or what have you. And I think it's time for that to change, especially for the Latin community, for Boricuas. You have Mexican characters, yes, but there's also Boricuas, there's also Brazilian, there's also Ecuadorian. You have a wide variety. So there's so many stories to tell.
Right.
And me being Puerto Rican, I want to see Puerto Rican.
Well, I don't blame you. I want to see it too.
There you go.
So now let's talk about these storylines, because they're two very, very different. And we talked about it briefly, and I wrote it down. So for Rage in the Shadows, you said it was like James Bond meets Resident Evil, which completely intrigued me.
Right.
And I love that whole badass, sexy, don't fuck with me type of vibe that kind of is in the same genre that what you just said, but I said a little more vulgar. But I love that. So talk to me about this character who is Mexican, yes?
Yeah, Mexican-American. Her name is Agent Garcia. She works with Homeland Security. She was injected with a unstable serum, which just happened to enhance her physical abilities. And that is, she has glowing eyes. So it kind of, it modifies her DNA, where it's kind of like she's powered up. But at the same time, with her powers being there, she's also being poisoned. So kind of think of it like a patient who has to go through dialysis,
right?
Every week, or whatever time, amount of times they have to do it. So I always thought about that because my father, may he rest in peace, he was a dialysis patient. So I was thinking, what's going to be different about her? What's her kryptonite? Oh, okay, this is killing her. So she has to go and, I guess, clean herself out, or whatever terminology you want to use. Detox, so that way she doesn't die,
right?
So she can maintain her abilities.
Right.
So
but
that's
at the same time still fighting that clock, because it's going to expire.
Fighting that clock, and what's even worse is that the bad guys kidnapped her family. So you've got three things going. You've got her trying to cure herself or find a remedy that that the serum won't kill her. Find a way to rescue her family within that time frame, and oh, by the way, you're trying to ensure that the bad guys don't put this unstable serum on the black market.
Right. So
you're on a clock here.
So right now there's 2 issues. Is there another one coming out?
I have to start producing it because, I'm always involved in numerous projects at the same time. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but that's just the way I roll. It's just how I operate. I don't know any other way. So right now, after completing the comic books, the whole marketing, because that's a job in itself. I finally got a grasp of learning the animation programs of Character Creator 3, iClone 7, and Unreal Engine. And those are the pipeline softwares that they're using right now for animations, and the Mandalorian used Unreal Engine for its backgrounds and everything like that. So that
Okay.
technology is completely out there,
Right.
and you can utilize it for a lot of your animated projects. So right now, in fact, last night I was rendering out a scene of Fuerza with a monologue from a friend of mine, Denise Rivera, who does the voice of Fuerza, and I'm putting the animation to that track. So I'll be posting up short, parts of that. It's kind of like a trailer, or an intro, if you will.
Okay.
And just want to get it out there because I finally was able to really grasp the software and get things to work where I wanted, like the hair, the skin texture, because now you can do some really high texture qualities on these characters, and I wasn't able to quite get it there just yet, but my
Okay.
buddies, in the iClone group on Facebook, shout out to those guys. They assist, they help me out to get it to where it's at. And shout out to my buddy Michael Rick. He's the one that pretty much also was saying that these softwares were game changers. So, shout out to him as well.
Nice.
And before I go any further, I want to shout out to my wife.
Aw,
Love you dearly,
nice.
sweetheart. Thank you for everything that you do for me. My son Adam, you're my world. You're my everything.
Aw.
And Adam also, gives a nice little tip there, on the comic books. He's like, Dad, you need to change this. You need to do that. And he'll just walk away.
Nice. Oh
But
my God,
he-
my
but he
kid
has an
does
eye.
that too. My
But the
kid
thing
does
is,
it
he
too.
has a good director's eye because I help him with his YouTube channel.
Okay.
And by the way, his YouTube channel is Gamers2407. Check out, subscribe, like. He'll love it. Thank you so much for your support.
Well, speaking of subscribe and like, make sure everyone is liking and sharing and following both Mixvibes Radio, Mindminx, and Ralph Henriquez. Your handle is a little bit different. We were just having conversation about that. It's Henry Q Productions
LLC.
LLC.
Now on Twitter, yes, you'll see me as Henry Q Productions LLC, but my handle is Henry Q Prod LLC, all one word.
Okay.
So it's condensed.
Right.
On Instagram, it's Henry Q _productions _ LLC.
Okay.
And then on Facebook, it's just Henry Q Productions LLC.
You had a really cute story about how Henry Q came about. Let's talk about that for a second.
Well, being a 20-year veteran in the military.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you so much. Shout out to all my military vets, 237th and 55th Field Artillery. When I went to basic training, actually no, it wasn't basic training. It was AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training. So that's the school part. So basic training is all the physical part, get you into shape, learn how to fire your weapon, yada yada yada. Prepare yourself for your next phase, which is your training of your job. And I was a generator mechanic, so I went out to Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and a lot of the guys there could not pronounce my last name. So one of the guys said, "Oh, Henry Q." And I was like, "Yeah."
And you answered to it.
And I'm like, "I guess that's me."
Yeah.
So from that point on, my whole unit used to call me Henry Q. And I was like, okay, when I'm making my LLC, what am I going to create? What am I going to name it? What am I going to name it? Henry Q. There you go.
That's cute. And I apologize. I'm that girl that says, "Oh, that's cute," but you know what I
That's
mean. Like
fine.
if I was a guy, I'd be like,
Understood.
"Pounds," that's cool.
It's all good. It's all good.
I love that story because it's really nice to see that every aspect of your life has kind of condensed itself into creating what it is that's happening right now. So it's really nice to see that there's that you're paying homage to your background, to your buddies in your infantry or whatever, and
Yeah, definitely.
I love it.
Hey, listen, it's relationships that you build over the years, and you spend a decent amount of time with them, and you
Sure.
get to build bonds.
Sure, and that's and I love that. I love that. Too many times, they always say if you have a friend for 10 years, you're lucky. Well, it's nice to know that there are things out there that still create that bond, that it could be 25 years and you're still that close.
Oh yeah, it's you can be away from somebody for a long period of time, but when you come around them, it's like time has not passed.
I love that.
You just pick up where you left off.
Yep.
From the last time you spoke or you chatted online, social media, helps, a lot of that stuff.
Well, I told you that's how Richie and I reconnected through social media. Richie and I were kids when we were working at J.C. Penney, if you remember that store. And we lost touch just because life happens, but because of social media, we reconnected.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
So, okay. We actually had some important stuff to talk about that, you felt was super important, as well as so did Vinny. We had the same conversation. And there's a reason, not just because there's a I almost like let the cat out of the bag and said it, but not just because we're inundated with all these super powered characters that, you had a significant, important message that you wanted to send by choosing female Latinas in your shorts. They were obviously short before they were a comic book. And it was because you feel like there is a lack of representation. So let's talk about that, because I love this topic 100%.
Okay. Now, I talk about the lack of representation because everyone, that's pretty much what you see, posted on Twitter or what have you. But it's a fact, we as Latino do not have numerous projects out there that reflect us. And back in the day when I was creating my animations and what have you, all you ever saw about from Puerto Ricans or Latinos in general, that we were these bad people, that we were either drug sellers, drug users, single moms, pregnant, barefoot by ourselves, and yada yada yada. And it's not that it's a bad thing, but it's just like that's all they showed us. They never showed that we were cops. They never showed that we were lawyers. They never showed that we were superheroes. They never showed that we were soldiers. They never showed us that we were a train conductor, or anything of that nature. That we're just not that one image on screen.
Right.
We're so much more. And that was my motivation to do that. And I don't go around, stomping on the ground and pounding a tempo. It's like, we've got to be this. Let's just go out and create it,
right?
And bring it out to the market.
Oh, I love that.
Bring it out to the market.
Too many people like telling everybody the problem and not be a solution. So I love that.
I mean, there are people, writing things that are a solution. But there's many steps getting into Hollywood that I've been learning, over time, that Vinny and myself has spoken over the years about, and shout out to my boy Vinny, because he's been very, very supportive, in my venture, and he's really been like kind of taking me under his wing. It's like he's been busy, on his own, doing things, and he'll talk to me about particular topics, and he'll share his experiences with me. So I keep that in mind as well.
And it's interesting to see Vinny's roles that we've, when I did his IMDb database. Yep, I said it right. It does show the clips of him, like, being, the bodyguard or the thug, whatever. So that right there, it's just a tell of how accurate your depiction is of not just your depiction, but what everyone's idea of what Hispanic, Latinx, Latino, Latina, however it is you guys want to say it.
Right. The bottom line is that, you got to go by how people treat you, and, not to get into the full politics, but, he, was a supporter, for the former guy, but I never downplayed him, and he and I always respected each other, of political beliefs, and never let that interfere with our friendship, because we were friends starting in 2007, way before anything. He's always treated me with respect. He's always treated my wife and my son with respect. And when you're around him, he's a class act. So that's how I treat people in general.
I agree.
So long you respect me, I respect you. You treat me like a douche, well, I can't help you at that point.
Yeah, that's not your problem.
That's not my problem, and I choose not to, engage in it.
So I actually wrote a question here from our conversation about this lack of reference. How do we get past that?
Well, I mean, continue to write the stories and make your projects. That's number one. Don't let anything stop you from doing so. It just depends on what you're going to do. For myself, I've made the decision to lean more toward the 3D animation, as an option to produce films, because you never know if you're gonna hit a pandemic again, and a lot of productions have to stop because of the pandemic. A lot of productions today stop because someone tests positive.
And that could be at any time. It
can be at any time, and we're all here to try to protect each other or what have you, and do the right thing, because when you're on a movie set, you are a team, and all the team has to function together.
Right.
And that one link should not hurt the team. So, but the other part is that if it happens where a production stops, at least with animation you can keep going. That doesn't stop. That can keep going, and you can work with others over, with using Google Drive and all these other cloud-based softwares to save files, what have you.
Sure.
So you're constantly communicating with one another, and you can keep productions going.
Now, how much of your short, because I was watching the Fuerza one, and I'm watching with my husband, we're sitting there, and I'm like, oh, like that looks so cool. I wonder if that was part of it animated and part of it live action?
The actors were live action.
Right.
The backgrounds were 3D. And that was at the time when I was using the software Maya.
Okay.
Now with iClone and with Unreal Engine, the backgrounds can be even more realistic than that. Because that's the power of it. Plus, the rendering time, the drawing of each frame is no longer days. It's now within minutes.
Wow.
That's how advanced these programs have become. And the quality is just amazing.
Well, okay, so and this is why I think I found it so profound that the comic book came after, because to me it kind of almost looked like a color live action comic book panel. Like when I'm watching, I was like, oh, that looks like it would be a panel in a comic book. So it was really cool to see that was born before the actual comic book was. It usually, that's what I'm saying, it usually is the reverse, where you have the comic book and then you kind of.
Well, I mean, that's just a camera shot, really. It's just a camera shot. There's nothing special between film and comic book. You still have your close-ups, you still have your medium shots, you still have your wide shots or your master shot. You have your side angles. You have your extreme close-ups. So it really, there's no difference between camera or camera angle, worm's eye view looking up, bird's eye view, looking down. It's just how you want to tell the story, and what angle is going to be the best to get that that one scene across.
Well, I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my god, I think that's so super cool. And your shorts are available on YouTube, yes?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. So I got to see 2 of them. I got to see Fuerza, and then I got to see You Are What You Eat.
Yes.
That's not a comic book, but
that
was you have a cool story behind that one too.
Oh yes, I believe that was that was a film competition that we entered in 2013 with my buddy and the director Fabian Perez, and it was hosted by Yaron Urbis and Francis Lozada. It was the Ultimate Filmmakers Challenge, if I recall, that's the name of it. So what happened was all people involved had to write a genre, a log line, and a prop. So lucky for my team, Francis's brother, he's awesome, wrote the genre of Shenmue. Shenmue was like, what is Shenmue?
What is Shenmue?
Again, it's been a while since got it back to it, but I think it's ancient Chinese or Asian mythology.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, and we had to create something based on that, and we had no idea. We were like, "What the hell is Shenmue?" And then the prop was gummy bears.
So wait, that was chosen for you?
That was chosen for us.
Oh, so it almost sounds like one of those Mad Libs, you
Yeah.
get these 3 things, now make something with it.
I was like, okay, I got something for you.
Gummy bears.
I got something for you.
Okay.
So we created this, and my team rock and rolled, and we came in third place, and I'm proud of that. But to create something, within that short period of time, to come with a story within this magical genre, and then a props of gummy bears, and there was supposed to be a log line. Off the top of my head, I forgot what it was, but we got it done, in the time frame, and I'm proud of it.
It was good. I was a little mad when it ended because I was like, I want to see what happens next. So just to give everybody an idea what that premise is, so it's basically this guy who wakes up in the morning like completely anxiety stricken, like, oh my God, another day. And the first thing he does is run to the store to buy gummy bears. But not just like one package of normal sized gummy bears. No, he's like trying to buy out the entire bodega type store of all of their gummy bears. And the owners are like, fine, go ahead. We're making our money on this, no problem. Because they ask him, like, what the hell do you need so many gummy bears for? And he's like, total anxiety. Oh, by the way, I missed this part. Mom is a bitch and a half. Oh my God. Like, she's just complaining about everything. Like, he's good for nothing. He does nothing all day. It like the anxiety, you see where that anxiety is coming from.
He can't win for losing.
He can't win for losing. He's like, he walks in the house, he tries to go upstairs with his gummy bears, and he gets yelled at for wearing his shoes up the stairs. Oh, by the way, we're trying to figure out where you filmed it.
My house.
Here.
It was my house.
We were trying to like which borough?
Yes, in the Bronx.
I was right.
There you go, rock and roll.
So, he can't win for losing. So he goes up, and then you see what it is he uses, and I'm not gonna give away the important bits, but he uses his gummy bears, and he gets another day. And then the next morning, all over again, anxiety stricken, like, oh my God, he goes to get his gummy bears, and they're sold out. It's not even just the store, it's apparently like a production issue. They are not able to get them anywhere.
Right. There was a recall.
Oh, that's right, there was a recall. And I was like, oh man, because I already know what he's using them for at this point. I'm like, damn. And so he goes home, and he's like, I don't know what to do, but of course, Mom. So I'm just going to leave it at there because you guys need to watch this. It was really good. And like I said, at the end of it, I was pissed off because I wanted to see what happened next. So was that it just for that competition, or is this something like, I love that storyline?
It was that for that competition. It would be interesting to like kind of continue with it to see like what the creature would do if he didn't get his gummy bears and how they're doing. So that would be something to look into for sure. That
would be awesome because I'm a huge horror fan to begin with, and right now we were having this conversation. I don't feel that there's a lot of great horror films out there. Like,
well, you got the is it Paranormal Activity, where they grab. They had that thing where they just grab people into the dark, kind of thing. Am I saying
the right movie? Was it Paranormal?
Yeah, I think it's Paranormal Activity, or movies on that level, where now it's like the characters literally just like running up on you, so you'd be like,
right,
versus the old school, of like say the Exorcist or what have you, which my wife hates, so
really
I can't mention that at home.
Oh.
Sorry, honey.
Well, that was my first, but it took me until I was 16 years old to watch that movie. But and I think that's why my whole idea of horror movies needs to be grounded in that supernatural, spiritual, existential genre, because I'm not like The Hills Have Eyes. I am not that. That is not. I mean, that's gory and gruesome, but that's not scary.
What's what I see trending right now is like the movies like Get Out.
Oh,
you know, so it's kind of like coming back, but it's being told in a certain way. With that mysterious, that kind of that spiritual and more like psychological,
right?
View. So yeah, I mean, and listen, Latinos can do the same thing. There's no reason why we can't. So, if you're a filmmaker of, Latino horror, listen, go out there and do it. Rock and roll.
How many stories do we have, like,
Don't know.
And you know what I mean? Like in our culture, I
Right.
remember
Yeah.
growing up and my grandmother and my mother scaring me with little stupid shit like, you know,
Yeah.
the cuckoo under the bed, and I couldn't, you know, do anything
Mm-hmm.
past a certain time because if I got out of that bed, I was scared I would get sucked underneath that bed. And I'm telling you, there's a whole opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
But you said something really interesting. I feel that some of these stories don't get enough recognition or even the idea of bringing them up because there's a lack of support even within our own community.
Very much so. This is not a criticism. This is just fact. Over the years, I mean, I'm not in the business on a full-time basis, but I see and I hear and I watch. You know, I'm an observer, and I just see a lot of people, you know, criticizing, you know, everyone within their own group of what they're doing. So, for example, Fuerza, she's not trigueña or she's not, you know, Afro-Latina. She may not be accepted, you know. And you'll have people saying, well, she doesn't represent me. I'm like, but you're missing the point. You know, we're trying to get projects that does represent Latinos, not necessarily you specifically, but you're still Boricua. No matter how you look at it,
Right.
you're still Boricua. So if we have a story about, you know, someone being Boricua, you know, support it. Now,
Support it.
do I get that we should be writing something of interest? Of course, absolutely. I mean, I'm a superhero buff. You know, I go out and I watch all the Marvel and the DC superheroes or what have you, because I love them. It's of interest.
Right.
So write something of interest. Write it, you know, and this is just me, my own personal thing. Rather than write something that's always has a political statement, write something that's people going to enjoy. And then over time, you can go ahead and write that statement. You know, once you've grounded yourself, because you know, I don't see many projects Latino based that, you know, is worldwide and so popular, you know, Oscar or this, that, and the other thing, that has a statement.
Right.
So it has to be something of, and like I said, this is just me, that has, you know, a message, you know, make it entertaining. Make it entertaining.
Oh, that's super important because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's entertainment.
Right.
So that's
Gotta, you know, that's something of interest. Something of interest. And not to say that stories are not, shouldn't be said and shouldn't be told.
right.
But we have stories too. And, you know, we should see them.
I agree. But
So-
going back to what you were saying about like the Afro-Latina, that's a huge thing because we talked about this even for myself. Like I am Puerto Rican. I am white passing Puerto Rican, but my Spanish, even though it was my first language, I lost it because my dad was Italian and we didn't speak Spanish in the house, so I
Right.
lost it.
Right.
So now even within our community, I'm not fully accepted because of the fact that I don't speak Spanish. So it's very difficult to show that support or show that integration if we're not unified within ourselves. Who cares if I don't speak Spanish?
Right.
If we need to stand for something, let's stand together.
Exactly.
Like-
I mean, no matter how you look at it, you know, you are born Puerto Rican, and that's what you are. That's it. Whether you speak it or not, you're still Puerto Rican. It does not matter, you know, whether you speak the language, you know, fluently. It doesn't matter if you don't eat all of the foods, you know, Puerto Rican based. You know, it doesn't matter. You
Maduro
are
is
born.
not my best friend. I am not a fan.
But, you know, the point being is your DNA says Boricua, your blood says Boricua. You were born, your mom, right?
Both my biological parents are. I'm 100% Puerto Rican.
All right, so 100% Puerto Rican. So there's no one in the world that can't say you're not Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican. My Spanish sucks. Ask my wife. She'll tell you. So, and a lot of times she has to correct my Spanish because it sucks.
That makes me feel better.
But, you know, many people say, oh, your Spanish is fine. I'm like, okay. But anyways,
You're
I
just being
digress.
nice.
I digress. But, yeah, I mean, no one can tell me, says, you ain't Boricua. I'm like, yeah, I am. It's because you don't think it doesn't matter. I know what I am, and that's a wrap. You know, end of story.
That's part of the
And
problem, though.
Fuerza, yes, She's light skinned, may have a similarity to Jennifer Lopez, and the actress who played Fuerza in the short film, Jessica Mas. You know, the light skin and the light brown, you know, darkish brown hair. They're Boricua. That doesn't, because she's not, you know, Afro-Latina, that doesn't make her Boricua. No. You can have your dark skin, you can have your light skin. I have family members in my family that have blonde hair, blue eyes. I mean, come on. You know, they're Boricua. And I have my father. You know, you look at me, just imagine me, you know, many shades, you know, darker. That's my father. You know, and he had short, kinky hair, you know, and that was my father. Love him dearly. May he rest in peace. You gonna tell him he's not Puerto Rican? Hell no. You're not gonna do that. So that's it. End of story.
I would same thing with me.
We have to be accepting. We have to be accepting, no matter what. Enough of the judgments.
Right.
Enough
the
of
Puerto
the
Rican.
It's Puerto Rican. Get rid of that, please. Get rid of that, Puerto Rican. You're Boricua. You're Puerto Rican, and that's a wrap. End of story. And I don't care what anyone says. You know, you can practice on your own time to learn Spanish. It's not a problem. But at the end of the day, you're still Puerto Rican.
I'm hoping one day, like, my brain will, like, unlock and remember my first language. I hope it'd be like that.
Well, from what I hear, the app Babble's supposed to be really good, so give it a shot.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm getting tired of not knowing what my coworkers are saying in the office. That I only understand every other word.
Gotcha. You need to work on it.
Yeah, I wanna be able to be like, motherfucker, I understood you this time.
Oh yeah, I like to catch some people when they talk good to me and I turn around like, what? You talking to me?
No, everybody's shaking their head. All right, so if anybody has any questions out there, the number to call in is 718-616-9971. We are here to take some calls to say hi. If you have any questions, I see people on my live watching, so hello out there. Thank you so much. We are here with Ralph Henriquez of Henry Q Productions LLC, and we were talking about comic books, and we had a great conversation since you brought up Marvel and DC.
Yes.
We had a great conversation about the disparity of quality of storyline between Marvel and DC. And I brought up the fact because, like, obviously now everybody's getting on that bandwagon to have women on the forefront. Like, we are the badass bitches that, you know, we've always claimed to be. Now we're showing it, and thank you for showing it for us. But Marvel is, like, completely winning, for lack of a better word. Like, I can't wait to watch the next one of WandaVision, of, you know, even the Scarlet Witch's whole movie. Like, I can't wait for that. Whereas DC, even though they're doing something, I'm going to try to be nice. It sucks. Was that nice? That was nice? Was that nice? No?
Woo.
We talked specifically about Birds of Prey.
Right.
Because that completely was just a women superhero. And even our friend Rosie Perez is featured as Montoya. Am I saying it? Say it.
Montoya.
Montoya. See? I can't even pronounce simple names. But, like, that storyline felt rushed. It didn't feel like...
It all starts with the script. You know, you got to have a good script. And what I see the difference between Marvel and DC is the fact that Marvel has taken their time to plot out all of their movies and see how they're going to interact together in the same universe. So that's why we have a continuation or phases. And that's why we have a continuation of the TV series that they're going to also phase into the movies.
Oh my God.
So WandaVision, you're going to see Wanda in Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about that.
She's going to be in Doctor Strange. Coming up, Loki, his TV series. Obviously, he's going to probably be in Thor.
We have to wait till June, though, right?
Unfortunately.
We still got a whole month.
Oh, unfortunately. We're in a void right now.
Oh, my God. What are you going to do for the next month?
And Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously, is Captain America.
Right.
But that is probably going to go into maybe a future Avengers, possibly.
Obviously, has to.
Yeah, so, but now that he's Well, let me not. No spoilers
No
for anyone
spoilers.
who hasn't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier yet. But if you haven't, check it out.
Thank God you said that. I would have said it. I would have just said it.
No spoilers.
We actually have a question coming in online. Where
Sure.
they're asking, where in Puerto Rico are you from?
I'm not born in Puerto Rico.
Okay,
My
neither me.
mother was born in Puerto Rico in the town of Cataño.
Cataño, where is that located? Do you know?
In Puerto Rico? I
In
don't
Puerto Rico. There you go. That's an answer.
To be honest with you, as far as actual location, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I just know Cataño. I put my GPS to get to Cataño.
Oh,
Boom,
okay.
there we are.
And you're there.
There we are.
Well, all right. So this is easier. How far from the airport?
I think if I remember driving was about maybe 30 minutes
Okay. You can walk?
from the
Oh,
airport.
he's looking it up. I think he's looking. Oh,
From the airport, you could walk? I don't think so.
It's really, really close by.
Yeah, it's close
Yeah.
by. When you be driving, yes.
I'm looking. I'm like, wait a minute. That's what I know where that's at.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, it took me about maybe 30 minutes the last time I went to Puerto
oh,
Rico.
he put it on the map. Oh,
we were
nice.
celebrating. We were celebrating my wife's birthday, but I won't tell her age because I know I'll get my butt kicked if I did so. I don't know. I'm smart. Gotcha. But we celebrated her birthday a while back, and I took my mom to go to her town, just to kind of look around and everything like that. Her original home is no longer there. Because I think wherever the home was placed, it was right on the highway. So they took
they expanded all
those
that.
homes
Yep.
that were there are gone. But yeah, so from my mother's from Cataño. I was born in New York,
You were born in New York.
born and raised.
I was born in Newark, and I am from Calle.
Okay.
So that's up in the mountains.
I got family out in San Juan, Isla Verde, and Mayagüez.
Okay.
And I have also some friends in the center. I forgot what section. I think she may have moved or something like that. But yeah, plenty of people out there.
Who else thinks Ponce is the hottest place in the whole world?
I would love to go
I
to
was
Ponce.
dying over
Oh
there.
my God.
Yeah, I think my chancleta was like stuck. Like this.
So they have this beautiful fire station, right? Firehouse. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so my sister wanted to go visit. My sister actually got to grow up on the island, so we were visiting. So she was like, "We're gonna." And mind you, I love everything hot. I am freezing right now in the studio, and I'm not joking. Like, feel my hands and they're cold. So we go to Ponce, and I start sweating. I'm like, "What? I'm complaining like a motherfucker how hot it is. It's like hotter than hell in Ponce." I couldn't. I was like, "Are we done? We saw the bombera. Can we go now? Are we done?"
I love the heat, so you
I
won't even
know.
complain from me because
I normally don't complain
being in the
about it.
military, we have to have our jackets on in hot weather and all that stuff. The regular BDU shirts and what have you, and it's nothing. Just drink cold water and just drive on. That's all. Just drink cold water and just drive on.
All right, so getting back to the Marvel DC thing. So you're right. I agree that the writers obviously are hitting on something on Marvel that are missing the mark for DC, but
Well, getting back to like what I thought about Warner, and this is no disrespect to the Warner and executives, but it's like everything does seem rushed. Everything is right about now. It looks like a cluster.
right. Well, you can see the whole thing. It looks like a clusterfuck.
It looks like a cluster, especially with the whole Zack Snyder scenario thing, and it's like, wow, really? I'm glad they brought out his movie, his version. It's made so much more sense.
Yep.
I really appreciate the fact that this time around, this version showed more of Cyborg and his heroic part to the storyline. I like the fact that they showed the Flash more heroic and not a klutz like the first one. And most importantly, and you can't ever screw this up, well, not with me, because this is one of my favorite characters, Batman. Batman's a leader. Don't make him the bumbling idiot that he was the first time around.
Right.
That really annoyed the hell out of me, And this time on the second version, he was the leader, the confident leader. He knew exactly what his goal was, and he went and he accomplished that with the rest of it, and with with Wonder Woman. she was.
Oh, I love the
she was
perspective.
brooding,
Yeah.
over,
That you put
her
on
lost,
it?
her lost love, but this time around, I mean, she says she's working on it, but she's still a leader.
Right.
She has the confidence that she knows what she needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the way they're handling Superman as a character. I love Henry Cavill as the Superman role. Love it, love it, love it. But give him some better scripts and a storyline where he's more positive, more and not somebody that it's coming to a point to crash. And I'm like, we need to see more Henry Cavill in a second and third, movie,
And explain
trilogy,
those. Yeah.
a trilogy, and show him, more positive. And I hope we get to see him in the Black Adam movie. I'm hoping.
What is Black Adam?
Black Adam is the villain in Shazam.
All right, yeah, okay. Now you're. I don't know that.
You can see it online. The Rock is.
Did we see Shazam? We did. I don't remember. Oh, so by the way, I'm that girl that forgets the movie 2 days later. So when I watch a movie, I could have watched it 10 times, and it's like the first time every time with the reactions that I have. So, all right, so we're gonna watch Shazam. Okay, so what else? What else do we want to talk about? I have a whole bunch of notes here. You wanted to see more
my
Unity?
wife sent me a note. She's saying, she gave me some tips over here, which
Oh.
I'm going to share with.
Go ahead.
She was just, she brought up some pretty good points over here. It's important to have Latina superheroines because I know Latina, girls, they don't have many role models, growing up. They don't. They have the Wonder Womans, they have the Batgirls, they have, all that, but they don't have anyone that looks like them. So we need to start creating things that they can either look up to or enjoy, possibly relate to, or just in general, it's like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
She looks like me. Okay, because everything is mainly male driven, but there's nothing female driven, and we need to see more of that.
That's why I love the Wonder Woman line.
Yeah.
That storyline is so great to me. Like even when I love when in the movie when they're on the island and training or whatever. I love watching that part of it because they're so freaking badass. I love it.
That's it.
I love it.
And listen, the highest group going to the movies, and this is on news, is the Hispanic community. Like 45%. Of paying customers going to movies. So why wouldn't you have?
Sure.
Or why wouldn't you back a movie? How could you come and say, well, that may not work? Who is the star?
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios over here. Number
Okay.
one, Superman the movie, iconic character. Who was the actor who played Superman the movie in '77?
Christopher Reeves.
Boom. Okay. I had no clue who Christopher Reeve was, but he smashed the role. And again, growing up, I didn't know who he was, but you surrounded him by Oscar award winners. You surrounded with an ensemble cast of top names, so it can be done. It can be done. You don't necessarily have to have a name in the role. But you could surround the people, the main character with, people like
Which
that.
they did in that movie.
And they did. Okay. If someone says to me, oh, well, you have to have a certain amount of followers or a certain amount of sales in your comic book, to make a movie or a TV show, I'm like, okay, well, growing up, I was a Knight Rider and Dukes of Hazzard fan.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I never saw a comic book before those TV shows came out. How popular were they then?
Yep.
They were very popular. Airwolf. Come on, folks.
We're showing our age.
Battlestar Galactic. Yes. I am over 50.
No,
And
but
that's
I love that.
all you get.
No, we were going to talk about that.
That's
because
all you get.
You don't look anywhere near that. And we were going to talk about your skincare routine.
What skincare? This is probably just me being out in the field, getting cooked.
It's in
So
the
you
genes.
know,
And we
it's
talked about
baked,
this. We
yes.
talked about what the scientific community is saying about what is the closest thing to a perfect human being DNA wise.
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican woman.
Yes.
Puerto Rican woman.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Shout out.
Shout out. That's a Googleable. Is that a word? Googleable?
Look it up in Google. I
Yeah,
guess.
you can Google it. It's an actual fact. It's a scientific article saying that the closest DNA to the perfect human
Mhm.
resides in a Puerto Rican woman.
Wepa.
Well,
Go on, ladies. Go on with your bad selves. And another thing that my wife was, had reminded me of, because I need her to remind me of a lot of things. One of the other inspirations of making the strong, female Latina characters is the fact that, after my father had passed away, my mom, never remarried. And, for many years, she did what she could do to raise me in the right way. And, so kudos to my mom for, keeping me on a right path, making sure I didn't go astray.
especially in New York.
Right. So, and I used to watch all around, of a lot of people going the way of the weasel, not doing well and what have you. And, so, kudos to her. So, that's another inspiration of like, yeah, there are very strong Latina women, out there that are doing their thing. So, shout out to, you ladies that are, not waiting for a man to help you out. You
Never.
continue to stay on the right paths of everything that you do.
Never.
And, I'm fortunate to have an awesome Latina woman,
By your side.
by my side, close to 20 years, being together.
God bless you.
And yes, every couple goes through their thing, but at the end of the day, I have my foundation of love for her. She has her love for me. We have our love for our son, and that's what's most important to me.
I think that's awesome
You know,
because
she-
that's
and
real
she-
life.
And she knows I'm there for her through thick and thin. I don't give up on her.
She's your ride or die.
She's my ride or die, and she knows that I will protect her from anyone and anything.
And I'm sure the
And
same.
I've done it
yeah.
already. So
I
I'm
would do
probably
that.
not the most popular person.
So I'm late. I told you I'm white passing, so I'm like the whitest person you'll ever meet, except when my Puerto Rican comes out, and like I get all gangster, like I grew up in New York City, and I'm like, "Ooh, where did that come from? My adrenaline is
It's in
up
your
here.
DNA.
Yeah, it's in my
It's
DNA.
in DNA.
Well, we had an awesome hour.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Hold on, let me see
Well,
my
let's-
notes.
Talk about the projects.
Oh yeah, what do you have coming out?
Well, right now, like I had mentioned before, working on clips in 3D that I'm going to be posting on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow me on Instagram at HenryQ_Productions_LLC. Yes, it's a long name, but I exist. And I'll be posting videos there and just getting the word out. And the biggest one is trying to get it out to a wider audience worldwide, trying to get it out into the Mexican area, to the South and Central areas, Canadian, Japanese, Australian, UK. So that's a work in progress. Still learning how to get that spread, that word, and how to get people involved
Okay.
on that. After I complete the 3D stuff, I wrote a treatment for a Fuerza film,
Okay.
and right now it's being reviewed by people that I'm working with right now, or looking to work with, and see where we can go, whether we can do a Netflix, whether we can do a feature film, or whether we can do animated, because again, I'm very open to any one of the three mediums.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be stuck to one thing.
Okay.
I want to sit down and have that conversation and say, okay, Ralph, we see it's you wrote it as a feature, but we could break it down into a TV series.
Ooh.
I'm all for that. I'm all for us either doing it live action or in 3D animation, because cost obviously will be much cheaper to do, because you don't have to worry about insurance for sets, transportation, having people, having craft services, because won't have people on set because there's not a set to have anything on, and all that. So, is anyone out there who's listening who knows an executive producer or an investor? Hit me up on my DM, because we're a team. No matter how you look at it, we are a team. It's not just like you're going to introduce me and I'm going to forget you. No, if you get me connected with somebody, you're part of that team.
That's awesome.
That's as simple as that. You're connected, to the team. And then after that, continue to do comic books. Work on the second issue of Fuerza and the third issue of Rage in the Shadows. Got my business partner, Billy from California. Hope you're listening. Shout out to him. He has been working on getting the marketing down for the comic books.
Okay.
So he's got a game plan that he's been keeping me, abreast upon. So it's just a matter of actually, executing and getting more views, more sales,
And where can we find your comic books if we want to? I know I got mine as a gift today, but if someone wants to purchase them, where can we find it?
If you want to purchase them, you can go on indieplanet.com, INDY, planet, all one word, .com. You can type in the word Fuerza, or you can type in the word Rage in the Shadows, or you can type in my name and all 3 issues will pop up.
Okay.
So you can go at all 3 of them, at the same time. The quality is good. They come very quickly, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy that.
I'm excited
You
to
can also
read
see
them.
it like a downloadable on
Smart.
Comixology and Amazon Kindle. So
Very
it's there as
smart.
well.
All right.
Now there's a Spanish version of Rage in the Shadows and Fuerza on Amazon Kindle. I got to get that over to Indie Planet, because we have the Spanish version. So for this Latino Spanish speaking community, it's available.
Very cool. Thank you very much. I had a great time talking with you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Wait, what happened to the missus? I thought she was going to call in.
I thought so too. Honey, what happened? I thought you were calling in.
Honey.
Hello, we're waiting for you. Give us a call. We're waiting for you. The number is posted. I texted it to you.
718-616-9971. All right, so we'll give her a second. I'll do my little. Don't forget to like, share, and follow to keep up with whatever the Mindminx Show and of course Mixvibes Radio is doing. And we have some great shows available all week long. And we are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course mixvibesradio.com.
All over the place.
All over. We're all over. Oh, I forgot Twitch. We're on Twitch too.
Oh, there you go. You almost forgot.
So, all right. So I guess I'm not supposed to say
Okay, let me just give her a quick text.
Okay,
if you don't
no
mind.
problem. Let's see what else. Oh, I know what we can talk about really quickly. Oh, we got a call.
Uh-oh.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hi there. This is Mrs. Henriquez.
Oh, it's Honey.
It's my honey. What's up, honey?
I thought it was a great segment. Thanks for interviewing Ralph.
Oh no, it was my pleasure.
One of a kind, and I think he's got some phenomenal ideas. I hope that this is another channel for us Latinos to support each other, because that's seriously lacking. And I think it's super important for us to uplift each other and rally around each other's creativity.
I love that.
And and spread the word.
Absolutely. And
I love how you said that. Rally around each other to uplift each other. That's awesome.
now I see why I love. One of the many reasons why I love him.
He was good. He did not divulge your age.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was listening and waiting for him to fumble, but he did good.
He did really great.
Yeah,
Come on, you know me better than that.
you're right. Well, thank you all. This was a great segment.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Love you.
Have a good one.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, so I want to take this quick opportunity. We do have, the Mindminx Show has its first contest out there, and we are looking, you know, because there's more than me.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple personalities sometimes, so I guess we could say we.
Gotcha.
I'm looking for an outro, so to sign off my show. I really don't know what to say when I'm ready to say goodbye. So I put it out there. We're running it through May 8th, and then I will choose and announce the winner on May 16th.
Okay.
There is a prize. It's a set of BH Cosmetics makeup brushes that are super pretty. It's like the diamond collection. And so we have a couple of entries already,
Sweet.
but I'm still looking for some more interaction. So anybody has any ideas of what for me to say, we're going to be picking winner.
You definitely should post it on your page and then just tag me.
Okay.
So that way, more people can check it out.
Okay.
And that
Definitely
way we get, a wider audience.
That'd be awesome.
So
All right. So thank you. So right now we're just going to say thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Very important to have these conversations. Most importantly, your support, your support of your team. And I just hope that this is something that, will get people inspired to support, my projects. So that way, in turn, I can create more for their viewing pleasure.
Well, I can't wait for that too then.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great week. Let's make an awesome time of it. Have a great week. Thank you, and goodbye.
Peace out.